Happy Saturday, everybody. We got some pop culture news, Bravo Television, Love Island, things to roast, things to recap. So grab a beverage. Hopefully you're wearing something very comfy. Smash that like, and let's get this party started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want, 'cause your heart's made of gold, but don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Who is she? Who is she? Who is she? Where did you find her?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, stand-up comedian and pop culture vulture. Joleen Lunzer here for another No Offense, All Offense, where we take a look at pop culture news, our favorite reality shows, entertainment news, trending news topics, things we love to hate, and things we hate to love. Smash that like on your way in, you guys. Hopefully you're all having a wonderful Saturday, and thank you for joining me. The day before Easter, yes, I had to look at the calendar. I was like, pretty sure Easter is tomorrow. So good to see everybody. We're back again. Okay. And we have some things we need to discuss. But first things first, like I said, hit the subscribe, hit the like if you want to support the channel further. You're always welcome to send a super chat while we're live. I'll highlight your comment, or consider joining my YouTube membership or my Patreon if you're looking for bonus content. And shout out to those of you who have been hitting me up on the Venmo, PayPal, and or Cash App. So good to see everyone. Good to see you, Liz and Jackie and Dreadful and Steven's here, Janine, Anna Taylor. So good to see everyone. Evelyn, Otter, Osfly Girl. Okay. CJ, good to see you guys. So let's get right into it. All right. Oh, what do we want to start with? Oh, okay. If you guys don't know, I mean, we take a comedic look. Okay. I'm very opinionated, but that doesn't mean you have to have the same opinion. You can sound off in the live chat and we can just respectfully agree to disagree.
That's my opinion!
Just my opinion. All right. Now remember also, everything I say is true except for the parts that are false. Everything is absolutely alleged and for entertainment purposes only, so don't sue me.
I heard
Allegedly.
And I almost hit the other sound effect. I'm also excellent. We know this already.
I heard actually mixed reviews on Joleen.
Oh, Joleen was excellent. What are they saying?
Joleen was excellent. What are they saying? Why would they say anything? That's so rude. Okay. Did you guys hear about the Love Island spinoff? So apparently Love Island season 6, last season, huge ratings. So good. It was the first time I actually watched. I think I've only watched one other partial season of Love Island, but obviously our girl Ariana was hosting, so I had to support and watch, and I loved it. Well, there was a spinoff that was announced a couple days ago, and some tea has come out from the Love Island spinoff. So apparently Peacock, they're filming, I think right now, and it's going to come out this summer, maybe. Let me just pull it up here. And we are going to see so many people from the season 6 cast of Love Island. And I am wondering if you guys are excited about this. I am. You know why I'm really excited? Because Cowboy Boots Crybaby Rob is not going to be a part of it. The snakiest snake charmer himself is not going to be a part of it. And I'm here for that. But you are going to see all of your faves, obviously PPG, and a lot of people are still together. So they confirmed the spinoff, and the title is Beyond the Villa with the Love Island season 6 stars. Let me just share this here. Marie Claire. We have a Glamour and a Marie Claire story to talk about. What is this? 2009, Jolene? Okay. Let me pull this up. All right. Here we are. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I'm actually excited about this. I never thought I'd be excited about anything Love Island, but I am. So we got the PPG, the new Peacock reality show will follow Serena Page, Leah, and Janae, more outside of the villa. And they are all still with their dudes that they left Love Island season 6 with, which is really exciting. So it says, calling all Love Island USA fans, season 6's all-star cast is returning to our screens. Last year, the US iteration of Love Island, hosted by Ariana Madix, became a pop culture phenomenon in its own right, breaking Peacock streaming records. I know I was hesitant. I wanted to support Ariana, and I'm like, and then I waited a little bit, and all of a sudden I was behind like 27 episodes, and I was overwhelmed. But it was amazing how quickly I could binge that show and catch up because it was so good. And I know I have a lot of friends who love Love Island UK and are like, that is the show that, the US version draws all its little sayings and spirit and vibes from. And I'm sure I would like Love Island UK, but Love Island US has always fallen so flat for me. So if you guys want to recommend any, should I watch? I might try. Well, I'm going to try to watch it again this summer to support Ariana. But are there other seasons of Love Island US that are worth it? I don't know. Put it in the chat or the comment section if you're on the replay crew. Okay, so it became a pop culture phenomenon. We were all talking about it, and it was breaking streaming records and catapulting the cast into superstardom. After season 6 reunion, fans were left hoping that the trio, dubbed PPG, and the rest of the fan favorite cast could return to TV again, not knowing that we would eventually get some very good news. Peacock has announced that a new Love Island spinoff with the working title Thailand, I'm Still in White Lotus, Beyond the Villa, is set to premiere soon. As reported by The Hollywood Reporter, the first of its kind series will follow everyone's favorite season 6 Islanders around LA as they navigate new careers, evolving friendships, newfound fame, and complex relationships outside of the Love Island villa. This is really giving me like old school VPR vibes, since these people from last season of Love Island, they really bonded and have become friends and some frenemies. So I think we're going to get kind of that VPR Hills feeling of reality television. I really hope they don't F it up. And here's how I know they might not F it up. A, Rob, the snakiest snake charmer, is not on the season. And I'm so over them pushing these mediocre, yucky dudes, these mediocre, toxic, gaslighty dudes our way and go, look at him. And I'm like, I don't want to. Give me somebody else. And Leah did an Instagram live with Miguel in the shower behind her. I think it was TikTok. Maybe it was TikTok. And I saw it on Instagram. And Miguel was showering behind her, but she was strategically placed so that we couldn't see any of his goodies. And she said that she was very vocal about not wanting certain producers from last season of Love Island to be involved in this project. And I was like, yes, Leah, you go, because this was another situation where a show wanted us to hate the people we ended up loving. We loved the PPG. We loved John A. We loved Serena. We loved Leah, but they wanted us to hate them. And they were, very heavy-handed production where, we know Leah ultimately ends up with Miguel. But I guess production, post-season it came out that production was just playing around too much and didn't really want to, or didn't really show the story of Miguel and Leah and how much they hit it off, because they really wanted to push this Rob and Leah thing. And let me tell you, the Rob and Leah storyline was exhausting. It was VPR level almost of, season 10, 11 of production, just pushing this dork of a man on us. And we're like, ugh. And trying to make Leah look like a bad guy because Rob and then his weird British friend who won the Traders, I forgot his name. Kaylor's, what was her name? You know who I'm talking about. The guy that won a season of the British Traders show. Put it in the chat. I already forgot his name because I was so sick of him and Rob because they weren't fun to watch. It was another like faux shitty bromance where they just shit on women. And I'm like, no Sankey. So apparently Leah got involved in I'll do the show. And now Leah has that kind of clout. She has that kind of star power. The PPG together and separately have that kind of power where they can go, well, we know you need us. So I don't want these producers who were, fucking up our season of Love Island involved. And I'm like, yes, we need more reality stars and more of these, people on shows to hopefully feel comfortable or feel like they have the influence and the power to stand up to these producers who just will ruin these shows. Oh, God. Oh, God. So I was so happy to hear her just in a very Ariana way take charge, set her boundaries, and say, listen, if I'm going to do this shit, you are not going to bring back, thank you, Aaron. Oh, I should have known he's an Aaron. No offense, all offense to Aarons, but I've known a couple of dicks. I do know 2 nice Aarons, but I know too many dicky Aarons. But shout out to, Leah really standing up for herself and being like, no, I don't want those kind of producers involved, because I think we've grown past this time of wanting these old school bachelor style producers who are just overproducing and just not knowing what the audience really wants. And I feel like a lot of times it's men. Oh, Busy Blue said, check my text. Of course, I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. So thank you for passing the message on. Celebrity. So if you watched me and Busy Blue yesterday, Busy joined me. A very impromptu fun. I had so much fun with Busy Blue. Thank you, Busy Blue. With one of my besties, Busy Blue, and we talked about reality TV and these competition shows now just being all about celebrity, and he wants to bring regular people back to reality shows and reality competition shows. And he sent me 2 screenshots, one of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune and one of Celebrity Jeopardy. But I am very happy to see that Busy is watching Abbott Elementary while he gets the notifications or the commercials for Celebrity Jeopardy and Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. They must have heard you. Busy. But it's definitely men producing these shows. Straight men, something's going on. Okay, I'm going to need Steven, and we're going to need some of the good gay men to speak to them in their man language, okay? And say, listen, stop ruining these television shows. All right? Kelly says, one reason I like Big Brother is because of the live feeds, and I get to see more of the truth than what they put out there. Me too. 100%. That's what I like about Big Brother. If they ever got rid of the live feeds, I don't know if I could watch Big Brother anymore. I definitely wouldn't enjoy it as much, for sure. The Rando girl says, oh, not the men. They don't know shit, and they're too emotional. They're so emotional. How do they expect to run a country, these men? They're so emotional. Hysterical, I might add. Hysterical. Steven says they need more gays. Well, I feel like we have a lot of gays behind the scenes on these shows, but even the producer that just spoke up against Bravo recently, he was more speaking up against, Bravo, I think, as a whole and what they're asking of their producers and things. But like the Alex Baskin-Robbins, Jeremiah was a bullfrog. I don't even know if either of those gentlemen are gay, but I think we need to have a straight lady, gay guy come to Jesus, and I don't want to leave out the straight men that watch these shows too, and just be like, stop ruining it for us. Stop it. Oh, we do need Lesbian Love Island. Please, please, please. Please, please, please. But the joke would obviously be that they would fall in love in the first day, because that is like, the stereotype on lesbians is that they're very monogamous and they fall in love and then they live happily ever after quickly, which doesn't sound bad to me at all. It sounds really good. But which makes me think I'm a lesbian, because that's how I roll. I fall fast, I fall hard, and I'm monogamous. I'm with you forever. Like, you're going to have to me to get out of this, and don't do that. Okay. So anyways, back to this Love Island spinoff, Beyond the Villa. So the Love Island USA spinoff is set to premiere summer 2025. So this summer, we're in April. We're so close. Peacock has yet to reveal the exact release date, but it will largely depend on when the streamer decides to air the big summer series, Love Island Season 7. Love Island USA Season 7, I should say. Wouldn't it be hilarious if the Back to the Villa gets higher ratings with season 6 than season 7 does. We'll see. The premiere for the original series is also undated, but it's expected to arrive sometime in June or July when it aired in the past. Yeah. Because they were there, because Love Island USA airs around the same time as Big Brother. So who will be in the Love Island Beyond the Villa cast? Peacock has announced that the season 6 cast members set to return for the new spinoff are Serena, Leah, Miguel, Janae, Kenny, Kendall. Oh God, not Kendall. Kendall's a tryhard. I do not enjoy him. Kaylor, Aaron, Connor. Okay, Connor Newsome. Is he related to Gavin? And it's spelled differently. And Olivia. So I think we're going to see the little threesome of Kaylor, Aaron, and Olivia. Not Kaylor. Kaylor, Kendall, and Olivia. I feel like I could just take away Aaron, take away Kendall. I guess Connor can stay because he's like single and navigating. I don't know. He reminds me of that guy from American Pie, that Connor. What was his name again? I don't even know if he's still an actor. He was also in Just Friends. Chris, why can't I remember his name? American Pie, and you guys are smart. You'll put it in the chat. But here, everyone remember Connor? Connor. Looks like a big old block, just like a big Lego. Yeah, Chris somebody, right? Chris Klein. Thank you. Thank you, design. He reminds me of Chris Klein in a lot of ways. But yeah, this little block guy, he's going to be on it. He just looks like a building block, just lifting. But Olivia, Kaylor, okay. But Kendall, oh. What was Kendall's little thing he always said? He was like, nasty. And then he and Nicole obviously are not together. Nicole's not involved in the series, but I think it's mainly going to revolve around Serena, Leah, and Janae, and their respective significant others who they, met on the show. And yeah, I'm here for them. I'm here for the PPG. And then, surrounding friends. Kendall gives me the ick too. Like even more than the ick. The ew. He gives me the Josie Grossi. Yeah, not Aaron. I know Graphics said earlier in the chat that Aaron and Rob were exhausting. They really were. They were so exhausting. Remember when Rob went in the pool and jumped in, and I don't know if he had his clothes on, and then he went under the bridge of the pool on Love Island and cried. I think they really wanted, bringing him back. They really wanted to make Rob a hit. Like they wanted to make Rob a thing. And we were like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Hamburger Patty says, I'm so far up their asses at this point, but Serena and Cordell is part of a new scripted show and confirmed it's not true. Oh, Serena and Cordell, winners of season 6 of Love Island USA, are part of a new scripted show and confirmed it's not Traitors. Oh, I would think it would be interesting to see some Love Island peeps on Traitors. I mean, you got the Bachelor peeps. Why not Love Island? I wonder if they've been offered that. Yeah, they're all still dating, Kelly. So Cordell, Serena, Leah, Miguel, Janae, and Kenny. And then you're going to see Kendall, Kaylor, Aaron, which I think they are bringing back, obviously, Aaron and Kaylor for the drams, for the drama, for your mama. But I just don't need Aaron's kind of drama. I hope it's just like a season where they just dunk on Aaron all the time. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, that was exhausting. Going through Kaylor and Aaron. Oh, my gosh. Thank you, Liz, for the first super chat of the live. Liz says, love catching the tea live with you guys. We're so happy that you're here. Thank you so much. Steven says, I didn't realize they all were still together. Yep. All still together. All still adorable. So looking forward to that, my friends. All right, let's see. Next thing. We got to talk about another Legoland man, Zach. So Zach from the Valley. Okay. We know that he is, on the outs with Janet and a lot of the women because of him saying he didn't care. I don't even remember exactly how he said it, but that Janet, that stress on her while she was pregnant could lead her to miscarry. Okay. Well, according to Sheena, Sheener on her podcast said that's not all Zach allegedly said. So Sheena explains the comments Zach made about Janet that were not caught on camera. So apparently there were some that were not caught on camera. Now, you have to consider the source in a lot of ways, or the sources. Do we know they're telling the truth? I don't know. Do I kind of believe it? Kind of. But apparently, Janet, okay, so this is according to the Bravo Investigator. Shout out to the Bravo Investigator, because we used to kind of roast and recap Sheena's podcast, but we haven't done that in a while. And I don't know if I can listen to a whole, sorry, Sheena, a whole episode of Sheena's podcast right now. I don't know if I have it in me, but if we have to, I guess we could go there. Yes, Air and One Traders UK, which is crazy. But there we are. So according to the Bravo Investigator on Instagram, Janet had tweeted at Kristen Doty, it absolutely is revolting that your BFF Zach said out loud that he was hoping I would miscarry and commit S or unalive myself this summer. All of our friends and castmates were aware of what he said and reached out expressing how disgusted they were by Zach's death wish upon my unborn child, except you. Now here is according to Sheena. So apparently we only heard him say he doesn't care when they brought up, she could miscarry. But apparently he also talked about her unaliving herself. So let's hear what Sheena says about it. Oops.
Discussed this on the podcast before with Janet. She's talked about her mental health struggles. She's talked about her battle with suicidal thoughts. And I have her permission to say this. I just want to say that she had also shared that she had an attempt once to end her life, and that put her on a 72-hour hold. Mm-hmm. And for other people to use that against her and to
weaponize it like that.
Exactly.
It's foul.
He had made comments that were not caught on camera. So people thinking that everything at the finale, like that's all he said and it wasn't that big of a deal. A comment that he made that was not caught on camera was that she should have killed herself when she had the chance. Because of what he said, it caused his best friend, Brittany, to distance herself from him for many, many months, over his birthday, over the holidays. It wasn't until Brittany's birthday last year where she pulled me aside and she was like, Janet's not coming tonight. She has a new baby and Zach really wants to come, really wants to celebrate me. Like, what do I do? What do I do? And she was comparing my friendship with Tom Sandoval to her friendship with Zach, being like, okay, well, Tom really screwed up, but then you gave him some grace. And Zach really screwed up, but I want to give him some grace. And when she put it in that, I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, but it was just so dark. And then that night, Zach tried to talk to me and apologize. And I'm like,
he said the same thing.
It's not the time or place, not the time or place. And then he said something similar about someone else who we care about.
Somebody else.
And that's where I have to disagree with Kristen, because I don't want her supporting this behavior. We've discussed this on the podcast before with Janet. She's talked about her mental.
Okay. What? Oh my goodness. So apparently, I believe this because Brittany didn't talk to him for a long time, and not saying that what he already did wasn't enough not to talk to him, but so far no one, maybe Kristen or Zach have, but no one else has come out and said that Sheena or Janet are lying about this. So apparently it wasn't just the comments about him not caring or him not caring if she miscarried, but it was also about taking her own life. Ay. But yes, Brock, be quiet. Be quiet. Mm-hmm. Tom said similar things to Ariana and Sheena. Isn't that interesting how she brings up Tom? And when Ariana was talking about her mental health, struggle and her, unaliving ideations and feeling depressed, Tom was like, it's not true. It's not true. But then everyone had to feel bad for him. Oh gosh, yeah, giving Tom Grace really served her well. But there is just something about the Zach guy that is just yuck city. He is one of those LA. I lived in LA long enough. Those LA clinger-ons. He'll take anything he can get. He just wants to be associated with the people. He's a climber. He's an opportunist. He comes off fake. Let alone his style is horrendous. And again, I will only be accepting of Zach in the Valley season 2 if he drags Jax to hell and back. But if he doesn't do that, what is the point of him? I will always question that. So Design said Brittany said on the after show she was disappointed in him. Yeah, she did. And she didn't talk to him for 4 months, I think. Hamburger Patty says, this is all so disgusting. I'm thankful for the space to be able to find. We have to find the humor in this because these people are cuckoo bananas. And can we have a reality show anymore that is just people, doing, getting drunk, hooking up, and not being just awful human beings and saying awful things? And like, this is the Valley. You're too old now to be talking about people's mental health that way. It's just like, that's why Zach doesn't really fit. I mean, right? I don't see how he still, and if people in the chat said, yes, he did say that he, that he was blackout. But if you're blackout and saying this, believe me, from one blackout drunk to another, it might be time to hang it up if that's how you're talking when you're blacked out. Yeah, right? Thank you, Design. Yeah, this is going to be such a fun season. So DV, unaliving talk, and divorce. Good times, good times. In 2025, we needed something lighter, weirder, funnier, quirkier. Not this. And then Sheena going, and he said, and first of all, Sheena, again, with how you turned on Ariana, you and Lala, and were worried about Tom Sandoval after everything he had done and was continuing to do and say about your best friend, according to you, Ariana, you really don't have a leg to stand on in this. You don't have a platform shoed leg to stand on. Thank you, Witness, for being a member for 25 months. Witness says, I agree. Healing is much easier when it's much easier than being drunk, blacking out, and saying mean stuff. And now I was a drunk that blacked out and would say things, and my friends were like, do you remember what you said? And I was like, no. And then sometimes you would, but if you're blacked out, I don't think I ever truly remembered fully what I said when I was blacked out. But that doesn't absolve you. Like, you still have to stand in those things. And those are still things you said. And some people say, drunken outbursts or sober thoughts or whatever that saying is, when people say, I didn't mean it, I was drunk. Or is that something so deep in you that does exist and was bubbling up? And then when all the inhibition in that part of your brain turns on and goes, I'm going to bed, you're about to kill us. And then it says those things. I don't know. So Tracy says, don't get me started, LVP. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Leslie says, Sheena needs to take a seat and sit this one out, because you can't be like, I'm such a good friend. No. No. If we would have just ended Vanderpump on season 10, I would go, Sheena is such a girl's girl. She's such a good friend. Her evolution, how she was there for Ariana, how she held Tom accountable in her apartment house and cried and was like, you could have called her friends, Tom. We would have taken care of her. I would have been like, Sheena's the best. But then season 11 came and I was like, oh, no. There she goes. Amberlina says, I can't with Sheena and Brock. Sheena is a friend to everyone and a friend to no one. Yeah, it's true. And then with Brock, I'm just like, why is Brock giving his opinion again? What? Remember Brock's opinion on the last season of Vanderpump Rules when he was just pushing forth his misogyny on the beach, and then Ariana had to check him? And it's like, no, bitch, he is not beat down. Like, he was like, the guy is, I forget exactly how he described Sandler. He was like, he's beat up. It's like, no, he's fine. He's a victim. Ariana didn't do anything to that dude. He's okay. He just wanted everyone to feel bad because he lost his mojo.
I lost all my mojo.
So my friend.
The thing that makes
my friend then. Get your mojo back, my friend.
Once I turned 40, I was like,
this can't be the rest of my life.
I regret every moment that I stood up for you, defended you, supported you, you're worth nothing. And I want you to feel that deep in your soul. I want you to hear those words coming from the mouth of the woman that stood by you and loved you.
I can't be the only one that just finds that so inspiring. I literally could listen to Ariana dismantle these idiots on replay for the rest of my life. So whenever I'm feeling bad, I just go back to that. I just play Ariana just eating them up season after season, time after time, and especially in season 10 at the end there, and then in season 11. It just makes my heart really, really happy, you guys. I can't help it. Because otherwise I just play Lauren from Utah being a studio gangster.
Things that come out of his mouth, if he were to pull that on me, like, I'd be catching a case.
I'd be catching a case.
Like, I'm putting claws in you, dog.
Like I'm putting claws in you, dog.
It gets my blood boiling just thinking about it.
Locked up, they won't let me out. Just takes me back to Jamaica 2005, 2006. I think it was 2006. Akon, just like dancing in the club to Akon. And everyone was talking about being locked up. And I was like, yep, I'm locked up. They won't let me out. Okay, stop it, Jolene. Grow up. Grow up. Thank you, design. I take pride in my clips and finding my clips and putting a little zhuzh on them, zhuzhing them up. Sandy says, Ariana ripping into Tom. It makes my heart warm too, Sandy. We see each other. We do. There's just something about her. So, okay. So Zach, not surprised that Zach added to whatever he had said. Zach just is one of those guys. Not a fan. And again, if he ends up destroying Jax, okay, I'll walk it back a bit. But I don't trust that man. I've never trusted that man when he was appearing, as Brittany's sidekick, college friend, hometown friend, whatever he is, and just trying to befriend everyone in the cast. I was like, I see what you're doing. I know what's going on here, and I don't like it. Okay, now on a just like when I say let's lighten it up. Some very tragic news coming out of the Real Housewives of Orange County. Apparently, TMZ reported that, do you all remember Lydia? Her brother was shot by the police and died. Apparently, he was driving his motorcycle on the one, and he was pulled over. And there was some kind of, I don't know, I'm sure more details will come out at a later time. I don't even know if Lydia has spoke about this yet, but there was something that occurred with the police, and one officer shot him and he's died. So the brother of former Housewives of Orange County star Lydia McLaughlin was shot to death by police during a traffic stop in California. TMZ has learned. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ Jeffrey Shyam Sterling was riding a motorcycle along the Pacific Coast Highway in Newport Beach, about 50 miles south of Los Angeles, when cops pulled over his vehicle Thursday night. So Saturday now, so a few nights ago. Our sources say Sterling became uncooperative with Newport Beach police, and at least one officer pew-pewed him. Sterling died later at the hospital. Police say no officers were injured during the encounter. The California Attorney General's office has launched an independent review of the deadly shooting to get to the bottom of what happened. Lydia McLaughlin issued a statement Friday telling TMZ, my family and I are devastated by the loss of my brother. We're grateful for the outpouring of love and support from friends, family, and the community. We kindly ask for privacy as we mourn. As you may know, Lydia was a fixture on season 8 of The Real Housewives of Orange County with Vicki Gunvalson, Tamra Judge, Gretchen Rossi, Alexis Bellino, and Heather Dubrow. She also appeared on season 12 of the show. Her brother was 45, same age as me. Oh my goodness. I was just like, what? So that is the latest. So just feel bad for Lydia and her family. Again, that's all the details that they put out there. Jackie says, I loved watching Lydia and her mom. What a shame. Her mom, yes. Remember when Vicky's yucky son-in-law yelled at Lydia's sweet mom? I think her mom passed away too. I think that's what I had seen. Her mom was just so like up in the clouds, just fun, like a Luna Lovegood type. Lydia ROC mom. Yeah, she passed away at 69 years old. And this was, let's see, Lydia posted, and that would have been just in October. Oh my gosh. Poor Lydia losing her mom, and then, 6 months later loses her brother. Oh my God. Thoughts and prayers to Lydia. That is horrendous. That's horrible. Anna says, I read her brother had a few counts of essay with a minor on his record previously. That's why we never saw him. Oh my God. Oh my God. Everything is just yuck, guys. Oh, now my thing's not working. Okay.
Absolute waste of time. So fucking boring. Jeez.
Andy, are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine. It's just that life is pointless and nothing matters, and I'm always tired. Also, I can't sleep. I'm overeating. None of my old hobbies interest me.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, there's Reddit threads that were talking about her brother and possibly being a pedo. I just Googled to see what I could find here. What is this? Okay, that's not her brother. Okay. But there are Reddit threads where people are discussing what Anna talked about. So I don't know. I don't really want to get into the details of that, but just gross, yuck, no thanks. Ugh. Let's bring it up. Happy Easter weekend for Lydia, though. Sending you love, girl. Ooh, okay, moving on, Jolene. Moving on. Okay, let's find something. Let me find something that we can maybe laugh at. I don't know if. Well, we'll find things to laugh at. Oh, here's something positive. Garcelle unfollowed like everyone from Beverly Hills. Good for you, Garcelle. Unfollow them all. Okay, mention them all. Don't mention them all. Unfollow them all. That's what I say. So Garcelle is definitely moving on. I think the only people, who does it say here she still follows? So she got on social media after she walked off the reunion. She was like, bye, bitch, bye. I do not have time for any of you, and I'm unfollowing you. Let's see. Garcelle has unfollowed Kyle, Dorit, Erica, hell to the yes, and most surprisingly, Sutton. Bye, Sutton. She still follows Jennifer Tilly and Kathy Hilton. Damn. Shout out to Bravo Buds. I love Bravo Buds on Instagram. Let me share their account if you're not following them. And I think they're Down Under. Okay. Apologies for that, but Down Under. Okay. They're like the good representation of Australia when you have Brock. No offense, all offense. Okay. So Bravo Buds says, so it's safe to say Garcelle and Sutton's friendship is no longer. And they took a little screen recording like Tom Sandoval and his girlfriend, Vicki Lee Robinson, like to do to Carolyn Uyghur from The Traitors and Survivor to her social media. Remember when we talked about that? How Tom Sandoval was screen recording Carolyn's and his girlfriend. They were screen recording Carolyn's Instagram to show that Carolyn liked everyone's comment except for Tom's girlfriends, and they were like harassing Carolyn about it. And I'm like, you two need to grow up. Carolyn's in Minnesota, living a life. She has a whole, son and responsibilities, and she's very busy making Patreon content with Sandra, Queen Stays Queen, from Survivor. And you two are just breaking up on social media and stalking people. But here is an actual, Bravo account, a blogger doing some research. And as you can see, no Sutton on that list. No Kyle. Bye-bye, Kyle. Garcelle says, not following Kyle, not following Sutton. Dorito, nope. No Dorit, no main road living. Dur saying that Sutton lives on the main road. No Erica Jane, which I don't blame her one bit, but still follows Jennifer Tilly, still follows Kathy Hilton. And I love it. I love this for Garcelle. I love that she's cleansing herself of these women, you know, and I think it's probably a long time coming for her. And it probably feels really good to just be like, bye, bitch. I'm doing other things. I don't have time for this. Design, thank you for the super chat. Design says, thank you for your hard work in making all this fun. Happy Easter weekend, Jolene. And Lean Scott, thank you so much, Design. You too. I hope you have the best weekend and get all the candies. G Mommy says, can you please make a short clip of the Katy Perry mashup with the bridesmaids? I was crying, laughing at work. Oh my God, that was so good. Okay, I'll have to remember that. Let me star your comment there. Oh God. Katy Perry's like, you just don't know about love and light until you're like in space for 4 minutes. And then you really feel love. And you're like, Katy, stop working with accused sexual predators for your producers. Okay. Focus the love over there. Oh my gosh. Gayle King kept going on after we talked about the girls in space. Gayle King was talking about her haters and it just was tone deaf. Oh my God, so tone deaf. And she was going, try going to space. It's like, that's the point, Gayle. The average person in what we're dealing with right now can't afford to go to space. This is rich people problems. This is privilege problems. This is oligarchy problems. This is why it's so unrelatable, Gayle. She's like, try going to no, we can't. We literally can't unless we suck up to Jeff Bezos and his fiance's tots. We can't. That's the point. Oh my goodness. Cammie says, wow, shocked she unfollowed Sutton, but understandable. You know, it's when you ride hard for a friend, like Garcelle rode so hard for Sutton, and to see Sutton constantly wanting Kyle's approval, and that's how it looked to me, you know, and I think a lot of people saw that is it was just Garcelle realizing that no matter what she did, no matter how good of a friend she was, Sutton was always going to be seeking the approval of the Kyles and the Ericas. And she was always going to put that above Garcelle. And some people, you know, have been like saying that if, you know, Erica and Kyle would have, you know, snatched, you know, Sutton up right away and been her really good friends, she probably would have had no use for Garcelle, which is really sad to think because I think Garcelle thought they were real friends. But when you see it, you know, it's just one of those things when you see it right in front of your face and you're like, oh shit. Yeah. This person doesn't invest in me or care about me as much as I do them. And they would rather focus their energy and their support towards someone who isn't as good of a friend as me, so you don't deserve me. Stacey, I expect more to Gayle King, right? You know. We expected so much more, Gayle. I think that's the craziest thing is we're not shocked by this ladies' space trip that we're supposed to think is like the new feminism or something. We're like, no, sorry. But hashtag oligarchy problems. Like we're not, sorry, I can't relate. I would never befriend Jeff weirdo alien head Bezos and his girlfriend, his fiance's tots. Not me. Kylie said Sutton is a pick me. I mean, Sutton, it did seem like, you know, she wanted to get in with the other ladies. And, you know, Garcelle, she's going to be fine. Listen, if anything, I don't think she needs Sutton. No offense, all offense, but I don't really think she needs Sutton. I think Sutton, obviously, we'll find out she needs her more. What I'll miss so many things about Garcelle, but I'll miss her just asking the questions to her castmates and kind of holding them accountable when they're trying to like steer it off on someone else. Because I think the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, a lot of them got used to that like Fox Force 5 cult mentality of like going after whoever stepped to them and whoever questioned them. And, you know, almost bullying them to the point where then they just wanted to leave the show. and they would protect each other's like secrets. And so I liked that Garcelle and Sutton, you know, were asking them like, tell me what's up, and putting it out there. So I'll forever be grateful for that. Yeah. And now she doesn't have to deal with Sutton's racist mother. Sutton's mother is a monster. And to find out she is a therapist, I've met a few like that. Just a few. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was the best. Stacy, we played it. We kept playing it over and over the other day. The best part of the whole space nonsense was Bezos' face planted in the dirt. Me and Hype, my husband, Chell, just watched that again. He pulled it up during dinner. And I was like, yeah, let's laugh at that again. It was so good. It was so good. Anna says Garcelle was the queen of asking the right questions at the wrong time. And I loved her for it. Yeah. Kylie says Kyle got a role in the next season of The Lincoln Lawyer. So it doesn't sound like she plans. Oh. What the hell is The Lincoln Lawyer? What is that? Is that the clip that everyone's sharing where Kyle is like crying? And people are like, okay, we know she's an actress, but is this what she's been doing the whole time on Beverly Hills? Interesting. I've never heard of No Lincoln Lawyer. Let me look this up. The Lincoln Lawyer. That must be like a network show because I did not know what they're talking about. It's a drama series. It's in season 4. There's 3 full seasons. Oh, it's on Netflix. Well, good for Kyle. Get it, girl. Would I watch this? The Lincoln Lawyer is an American legal drama television series created for television by David E. Kelley. Okay. And developed by Ted Humphrey based on the books of Michael Connelly. It stars Manuel Garcia Rolfo and Mickey Haller, a defense attorney in Los Angeles who often works out of a chauffeur-driven Lincoln Navigator. So it's like a car commercial. Oh, it's got Nev Campbell. Oh, I do love myself some Nev Campbell. The first season is based on Connelly's 2008 novel, The Brass Verdict, a sequel to his novel, The Lincoln Lawyer. It premiered on Netflix in 2022. It received generally positive reviews from critics. In June 2022, the series was renewed for a second season. Okay. And it's based on that. The second season was based on Connelly's 2011 novel, The Fifth Witness, and it streamed in 2. Okay. And then August 2023, the series was renewed for a third season based on Connelly's 2013 novel, The Gods of Guilt, and was released October 17th, 2024. Well, good for that. Seems like it's a successful show. Since there's so many seasons, let me know if any of you guys watch it. Cami says it's a good show. I'm not going to begrudge a lawyer show, you know, but Kylie says her character is an affluent woman from Beverly Hills in need of a divorce lawyer. And she's going to be a regular in this next season. Is that what's happening in season 4? Mr. Human says, something I'll never watch. I love the honesty. You're like, good for you. I'll never watch it. To be honest, I probably won't either. Just because there's just so much out there. You know, so much going on. Care Bear says Kyle has absolutely been acting on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I've been saying it for years. She uses that show as a role, and that's why she never wants to share her real life. I think that makes a lot of sense. Her being, you know, her and Kim being child actors, and looking at this, maybe Kyle looking at this as just like another role. Because if you notice, Kyle tells on herself, because in, I forgot what part of the reunion, but she was talking with Bose about how she's like, I feel like I really, you know, connected with you. And we talked about things. We got really deep talking about like real things that I wouldn't normally talk about on camera. And then I had to rewind and go, did Kyle just say that? So her getting upset when people are like, you're not really sharing what's real. It comes off as fake. You're leaving out information. It's too cryptic. You can't get mad about that because you literally just told on yourself and said, I normally wouldn't share on camera. Well, what are you here for, Kyle? You expect everyone else to do the heavy lifting and share everything. I think it should have been. I think this season should be Kyle's last season, because she was insufferable this season. I mean, between the not sharing, we can't talk about Morgan. We can talk about Morgan. No. Like, what? She was on the show. You guys are doing I love that Andy did call her out and say, you guys are doing makeout videos, music videos. You were drawing in this kind of are they, aren't they sort of thing. You were toying with the audience, toying with paparazzi. You were getting matching tattoos. It was really the will they, won't they. So I like that Andy called her out for that, but I hated seeing Kyle this season. I'll still have to be like, Mauricio. And no one, Kathy Hilton's trying to spill all the tea and all the beans on Mauricio being a cheater and a weirdo. And Kyle's still like, no. And Kyle will never hold Mauricio accountable, especially on camera. It's always the other women's fault. And it's not even women he's cheated with. It's like women he's dating now as a separated man where they've agreed they can date other people. She always wants to villainize the woman in the situation. And I noticed that a lot this season. I was like, oh, Kyle. One of those, Mauricio owes you the world. These other women don't owe you shit. And it's just so tired. Like when Mauricio was filmed by paparazzi at the airport, she's like, I know Mauricio didn't do it, but it's probably these women. Oh, yes, Kyle. Mauricio should know better, and he doesn't care. And allegedly, he'd been fucking around when you're married, and then now he's, got his girlfriends. So Katie says, I suspect, I was hoping that maybe that is what was happening. But then when you hear Kyle throw these women he's dating under the bus and blame them as like thirsty or weird, it's like, no, it's weird that Mauricio's just out there making out at the airport if you have some kind of like respect clause. I mean, do you, if he was allegedly going out on you during the marriage? I don't know. It's just too much. It's too much. DGF says Bravo suspended Kenya for not sharing about her marriage. Where's Kyle's suspension? Kyle is a producer pet. Kyle is a industry plant. I love that term. But they love her. And she could literally do no wrong. Speaking of Kenya, you guys, we talked about this a little bit yesterday when he joined me on the live. Kenya has her YouTube channel, and people had been waiting. She was allegedly, people thought she was going to go live, and she might still, but they thought they were going to get a ton yesterday on her YouTube channel. And I do see that her YouTube channel subscribers have grown since I looked at it last night. But people were kind of waiting on her to address being, being asked to leave this season of RHOBH, not knowing what's in the future for Kenya Moore after she released that private sexual revenge porn type stuff on Britt, her co-star on this season of RHOBH. So people were waiting for this video to drop. And Busy Blue talked about it yesterday. He's like, oh my gosh, this is, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And when she dropped it, it was 1 minute and 49 seconds. What? But in that minute and 49 seconds, she did kind of call out Andy Cohen. And so we'll watch it together. Give me a thumbs up in the chat as soon as you hear the audio on it. But I was like, oh, it's under 2 minutes? We can't even get 10 minutes? But okay, Kenya, maybe this is just a teaser, an appetizer. It's not yet the pleaser. We just have the appetizer. So let's hear what she has.
She was yelling and screaming, and it was then that I heard her say the following words. That's why I keep a for like you. You didn't hear it. I heard it. It didn't make the edit. We're 3 weeks into filming, and this girl we don't know is threatening to unalive me. Live interview where Andy asked her, did she have a and she said, oh no, I didn't have a well, I have proof otherwise. Investigate that night, everyone went home. But weeks later, you want to say, oh, we had an investigation and found that you weren't in violation of the policy. Hey, did you have a night? No, okay, investigation closed. Any place.
Okay, so she's talking about Britt bringing up having a pew and as like a threat towards Kenya, and Kenya's like they're supposed to have policy, and them looking into it was basically them, according to her, just asking, hey, do you got a pew, and she was like, no, I just said it. Okay, investigation closed. So Kenya arguing that just that thread alone and her bringing up a pew pew should have gotten her, Brit taken off the show. And then she adds, Bravo's investigation of Brit.
That it will put
That guy, that video, I forget where it was at, where it went viral, that security just going like this, pretending to pat him down, but not like touching you, which is like my favorite way to be patted down, is just an air pat.
Put people in danger. Hey, did you have a headache? No. Okay, investigation closed. Any place that it will put people in danger and say you have a gun and not be committing a crime. That's not a crime. That's not against policy.
I will say it is pretty effed up that she could bring up violence via a weapon, knowing about all the the gun violence in the US. And they were like, that's okay, you can say it. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I just don't need my housewives bringing up using maybe pew-pews on each other. I think that might, not justifying at all what Kenya did to retaliate at all, but why I feel like they should just got rid of that Brit chick. Because if it's your first season in, you're 3 weeks in, and you're talking about your pew-pews.
I'm just asking the question. That happened on Beverly Hills. You think she would be in jail or punished or out of a job? You think if she had said that to Kyle or Teresa Giudice or any other housewife on any other show, do you think she would still have a job? I'm just asking the question. And you may end up having to delete this, but I'm going to say it. You tell me if it's too harsh, but where I'm from, that's why the decision was made. Leave me alone. A person likely will leave you alone. And they certainly wouldn't be going around playing victim. They would just go on about their business and find another target. That's that. You want the truth? That's the truth.
All right. So apparently we're going to get more in this. An appetizer or a teaser of sorts. Let's see if she's got another one. Oh, yep. We got 9. Oh, what time? Oh, it's going to happen in 20 minutes. Holy shit. 20 minutes. We're going to get Kenya's confessional. Hi, Dave. Oh, let's not chew my old ass Ugg boot. Dave dog. Oh, Dave. Look at this. Oh, shit. Well, thanks, Dave. I have only been wearing them to the dog park. Dave's like, bitch, these are ugly. These Uggs are ugly. Dave has spoken. Come here, baby boy. Don't chew any more of that. Come here, honey. Come here. Okay. Dave has chewed the ugly out of my Uggs. Okay. So Kenya's live is gonna, I wish I could stream it, but that would be wrong. That would be kind of wrong. Yeah. RIP to the Ugg boot. Davy, wavy baby. Come here, babe. These dogs are like, no, I'm not listening to you. I'm going to go do what I want to do. What do you got now, bud? Come here. Do you have another Ugg boot? No, you wouldn't do that. Okay. Let's play a quick commercial break while I find out what other shoes of mine Dave has gotten a hold of. He's bored. Let's play. Let's see. What commercial do I have here? Actually, let's play a little Gabby. What in the production company?
There's a toddler running our country. He has spit up on his t-shirt, his belly hanging out, walking around knock-kneed. He has no balance, no equilibrium, and he needs a chainsaw. What in the production company is fulfilling your request to have a chainsaw on stage while you speak at some kind of a summit? Oh, and make sure there's a chain in it. I want everyone to be afraid. And women, don't come near, because you're going to get sewn. I want a baby with you. I want a baby with you. You IVF. You surrogate. You bend over. He's Oprah. And you get a baby, baby, baby. He's the kind of guy with the personality thing that makes you want to sow your wild oats. And I'm not just talking about a few. No, he wants to infiltrate the whole population. So you don't know if you're your cousin or not and what kind of baby you're going to procure. How many heads will it have? 10 fingers and 10 toes on one arm, maybe. So now you have 40 digits. What are you going to do with that? Play the piano, I'm sure.
Before I get too many followers, I just want you to know you're not going to like it here. No, you might not stay around for long. and I know it. This could be your purgatory on earth.
This could be your purgatory on earth. So I trapped Dave in the office with me, right, buddy? We're going to work together. He's like, I'm laying on the faux fur rug. That's what I'm doing. New Uggs for Easter, right? Well, then we'll just have to show Dad that time to head to the outlet and get some new Uggies. All right. My photos. Thank you. And that is a good little reminder there too, that for all the new people, you might be disappointed. I don't know. You're going to have to really like an opinionated lady to like me. All right. Let's move on to what I wanted to cover yesterday. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to. We talked about the victim blaming of Britney, and then we're going to talk about Britney has been doing interviews like we kind of started to talk about yesterday, and sharing, her experience in her marriage with monstrous Jax. And so we have the Glamour article here, and I only read part of it, so I want to kind of roast it and recap it with you guys as the Valley just started and we're already exhausted, but we're here, Jax. Okay, we're here to drag your ass down to the depths of hell, sir. So Britney and Glamour looking great. The photos they have of Brit looks great. I love that she keeps telling her story, keep calling out Jax and all his lies. We do not need to hear about this man. But you guys did, I did get quite a few comments in the last video that you guys want me to roast the next podcast episode of Jax's. So after this video post, if I get more comments saying roast Jax, so if you're watching on the replay crew, type in the comments, roast Jax if you want to see me roast up his next podcast. And the best part of it was when he did a ad in the middle of his podcast for better health. After we watch him in this next episode preview, we watched him hate on therapy, and it's just like, but he'll take a paycheck and pretend he's going to therapy after Britney's like, I think he's doing that. So I'm already seeing it here. Roast Jax. I mean, we're probably just gonna have to keep roasting him up. All right. So let's just take a look at this, because she does, spill a lot of info regarding being married to this narcissistic POS. So we're going to do some narc slaying. So get your, oh no, where's my fluffy foo-foo? I got my boot. Oh no, my fluffy foo-foo pen. I just have my little fake diamond one. Okay, well, we'll have to do this one. So grab your steaks. Today, this is my steak. We're going to roast up and slay some narc.
In every generation, there is a chosen one. She alone will stand against the vampires, the demons, and the forces of darkness. She is the Slayer.
She is the Slayer. All right. So Britney Cartwright is moving on. For years, the Valley star felt like she had lost her sparkle. It took separating from her husband of 5 years to find herself again. Here she opens up to Glamour about what it took to leave and her hopes for the future. All right. So it was 2018 when I last interviewed Britney Cartwright. At the time, Vanderpumprules, a Bravo reality show about a group of hot young staffers at SUR, a West Hollywood restaurant and lounge co-owned by internal misogynist extraordinaire Lisa Vanderpump herself. I obviously added that. Was an established hit, though it was yet to reach a post-scandal level of public consciousness. Jaxtaylor still considered himself the #1 guy in the group, and nobody asked for that. While Cartwright, then his fiance, was in the unforeseen position of being the only cast member who appeared to get along with everyone. It was a fun time in my life, Cartwright tells me now, nearly 7 years later. I mean, things weren't always perfect, but it was a good time. Bear Chase. It was very optimistic and hopeful for the future. I was very optimistic and hopeful for the future, and Bear Chase. I honestly thought me and Jax would be together forever back then. For a while, it appeared possible, though the two had weathered their share of drama, including their own cheating scandal and a drunken sunglasses stealing incident that we'll all never forget, both of which were instigated by Jaxtaylor. Things seemed on the upswing. By the time the couple left the show in 2020, the space physically and mentally from SUR was positive too. For the most part, the couple had already left sceney West Hollywood behind for the more suburban Valley Village when they welcomed their son Cruz and started a podcast together called When Reality Hits. It's not like the relationship was perfect, Cartwright says. Even on Vanderpumprules, we had awful times that were on the show, and we had many great times that were on the show. It's just obviously the best time in your life is whenever you have kids. Things were good for a while. So good, in fact, that they started filming a new reality series focused on their relationship and tight circle of friends, most of whom were also parents, called The Valley, which is now, we're in season 2 of the Karen, you sweetie wipe the CD. You get it because you have a dog. You said, so here's a little money so you can get some new Uggs. That is so sweet of you, Karen. Thank you. R.I.P. Uggies. Look at all that. Just like so dog. I mean, you just, who cares? Thank you. That is super, super sweet of you. I'm just impressed. Dave was able to make a really clean little cuts there. I love it. Okay. Thank you, Karen. That's really sweet of you. So The Valley. It was an instant hit when it aired in early 2024 and became Bravo's most watched series premiere in nearly 10 years, which is crazy. That's crazy. And Jax is going to drag this show down into the depths of hell. We thought we were going to go into season 1 being a strong couple, and it just demolished our relationship, she says. By the finale, Cartwright had moved into a rental and separated from Taylor. And remember how Brittany was having those horrible stomach pains? She probably had a damn bleeding ulcer. Notice how we're not hearing anything about Brittany's stomach pains anymore. And Jax was like, she's a horrible alcoholic. She's got cirrhosis. Like, he was just, saying all the things. And really, it was probably just the stress. I mean, stress will kill you. And being around that monster and what we know now and what we're learning. Ooh. The separation was good for Cartwright, she tells me, really good. I was like, wow, this is peace, she says, which is so telling. I mean, just how she talks about feeling lighter, feeling at peace, how she's not constantly ill from, her stomach. Because it is always that thing where, like, you can push it down, but the body always reacts. You can say, everything's fine. The body reacts. And it did so with me. Like I always tell you guys, I was getting hives this big on my forehead. People were like, what? Are you okay? I'm like, fine. I'm great. Everything's really good. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. Just hiving out over here because my body's like, no, bitch, you're not okay. You're living in denial. Wake up. Meanwhile, she says Taylor was pretty much spiraling out of control. It hit a low point last July, a few days before the second season was slated to begin filming, when she says Taylor saw old text messages between Cartwright and Julian Sensley, a former friend, or Jax would say his best friend, of his, whom she had briefly dated after their separation. He went berserk, she said, to the point that she considered calling the police. Cartwright, not wanting their young son to be around the arguing any longer, says this further solidified for her that separating had been the right decision. Taylor entered rehab for cocaine and alcohol addiction before returning for a second stint later that year. Oh my goodness. Viewers will see all this, we know, and more, of course, in season 2 of The Valley. But naturally, Cartwright is anxious about seeing such a negative period of her life play out on screen again. I'm worried about it, she says. It's always hard to relive what you went through months ago, but it's all been very public already. Our separation was public. Our divorce filing is public. These podcasts are public. So there's already a lot, but there's so much more this season coming out that is going to shock everybody. I cannot handle any more shock. You guys are so sweet. Thank you, Pamela. Says money towards the UGG fund replaces or repair. Replace or repair. Thank you, Pamela. That's so sweet of you. Oh my gosh. So it's gonna shock. I'm not shocked, but I'm enraged seeing this man and knowing he's gonna continue to be on our television screens after this week, and then when he comes back from rehab or whatever, and he won't shut up, and he keeps lying and trying to manipulate the audience, and it's like, we're not dumb, bro. You can't manipulate us. We've watched this so long. We know how you work. Stop it. We're not new to this. People are going to get to see a look into what I've had to deal with. Just what we've seen so far, I hate it. I hate it, Brittany. They'll also see a stronger, more empowered Cartwright, a woman she describes as Mama Bear, who is willing to make hard decisions and completely upend her life for the sake of her son. Here, Cartwright opens up with glamour about how she got to that place and what's still to come. Oh my gosh. It's horrible. Horrible. Kelly Kell says, Jolene, I hate to be off topic, but I think you should stream Trooper Paul's cross from the Karen Read trial. Have you seen it? I have. He says he reconstructed the wreck with math and stuff. Okay. Yes, I don't know if I've seen the whole cross, but Kelly Kell, let me write that down. Actually, let me just highlight your comment. I don't got to write it down. I'm going to highlight it. Yes, we definitely got to go over that. We got to finish Pooper Proctor's cross. So Glamour asks, I want to go back to when I last interviewed you. It was December 20th, 2018. How do you feel now looking at that period of your life? And Brittany says, I was engaged. I was excited to get married. I thought our marriage was going to be forever. Of course, you don't marry somebody thinking that it's not going to work, but I've changed so much in so many different ways. A big thing about me is that after I had my son, it really opened my eyes to what I was going through. I've gained a lot of strength, and I'm able to take care of myself more and put me and my son first. I knew that he needed to have a happy mom, and things had gotten so bad. I was like, I've got to do this. Mama Bear has to come out, and I have to do what. Yeah, you gotta maul Jax. You gotta just Mama Bear maul that little bitch and make sure that he knows what's up. So I agree, Brittany. But remember their wedding, and then they found Cocaña, and we saw it, like, as viewers were like, is that Coca-Cola Classic? You can't beat the real thing, right on the table of Jax's like groom suite as he was getting ready. And people, and the network, I think the people were filming, it was probably so normal to see Jax doing Coca-Cola Classic as much as they'll be like, oh, clutch their pearls. He did. It's like, look at the man. He looks like a friggin', this is your brain on Coca-Cola Classic. Any questions? Like he looks like the poster child for, doing that kind of stuff. But no one ever, they never talked about it or addressed it. But it was right there at the wedding. He was just, I'm in love. And he just snorted all up. Oh my gosh. Do you remember the first time that you had the epiphany of, wait, this is not what I want for my son? And Brittany says, I didn't really confront a lot of what was going on in our relationship. I ignored a lot of things because I was in love. I had a family, and I didn't want to break that up. I really wanted to fix our relationship and try to change Jax, which we all know you can't change these dogs. Actually, I don't want to call them dogs. I love dogs. You can't change these raccoons. No offense, all offense to raccoons, but you can't change them. They're always going to be digging in your trash. They're always going to be showing their nails. They're always going to be with the beady eyes. They might attack your kids. Like, you just can't. These raccoons ain't loyal. Thank you, Fly Girl. You guys are so sweet. Socks to go with the Uggs. Oh my God, I am going to be looking so cool, so fresh to death. I don't have to wear my doggy slobber chewed up Uggs anymore. Thank you. That's really sweet of you. So she learned a lot of things. I really wanted to fix our relationship. You can't. And change Jax. These raccoons have to change themselves. All the empty promises that were made, like he was going to change. Oh, he's been saying that since he first started on Vanderpumprules when he turned 40 back in, 2010 or whenever the damn show started. And it didn't happen for so many years. Finally, I'd had enough. It wasn't just one single thing. It was a lot of different things that had piled up over the years. And finally, it's like laundry. If you let that shit go, it'll pile up and ruin your life. You'll drown in it. Just like toxic men like Jax. You just gotta throw it in the wash or throw it in the garbage or donate it to the Goodwill. Let go, let God. Goodbye. So she said it piled up over the years. And finally, one morning, he came into my room after I'd been out with Kristen Doty to dinner the night before. Jax had stayed out all night, but he's a great dad, you guys. He stayed out all night. So he slept in the guest room. Way to go, good dad and husband. He comes in my room at like 8 a.m. He had made up a story in his coked up mind that I was talking about my relationship with Kristen all night, that she was talking about her and Jax's relationship. I think she means with Kristen all night. He never wanted me to vent to my friends. That is abuse. That is a very common form of abuse that these dudes use, these abusers use. They don't want you to talk. They don't want you to share. That's why they want to isolate. I have a family member that happened with, and unfortunately, the abusive dude was successful in isolating her from all of us, and still pretty much to this day. And we tried for years, and the door's always open and all that. But he is, every day I look and I'm like, is he dead yet? Like, honestly, I'm just like waiting to get the text. He's still alive. And it is crazy. These assholes live forever. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, thankfully he lives in Florida. Apologies to Florida. But literally, I'm checking my phone on the regular. Like, oh, okay. Didn't get a dead text yet. But here we are. So, oh my God. But that is such an abuser move. To be like, don't talk about a relationship. They'll isolate you from your friends. They'll isolate you from your family. They'll isolate you from people who can get you out of the situation or help you. Someone who could see through their manipulation. It's horrendous. Horrendous. Yes, the evil keeps them going. I'm just like, geez, Louise, this guy. He's going to live for damn ever. Just Kelly, thank you. You guys are having me looking too. You're having me look fresh to death. Just Kelly says, for the not the matching purse. Oh my God, I'm feeling myself. I am feeling myself. Yes, Cammie says that's the first clue to identifying the abuser: isolation. If you're in a relationship and someone's trying to isolate you or talks bad about your family and friends regularly, or not talking to them, or you can't trust them, that is just such a red flag. And I think it can be, they can kind of slide it in as if they're caring about you, as if they're looking out for you. I had an ex who was like that. And, I hadn't noticed because I just was like lost in the sauce, but slide like talking badly about my friends and things. And I would have an issue with one of my friends, and looking back now, I'm like, was that a real issue, or was that the influence of having this person around me 24/7, acting as though he had my best interest at heart, but really was just talking down to the people that I trusted the most and that they knew I could trust the most. Thank you, Just Kelly. That is so sweet of you. Mr. Human says, Joleen is going to be dripping with new threads for Easter. I'm going to be like, don't talk to me. Okay, I'm fancy. I still smell like dog pee, but I'm fancy. All right. So Jax went into her room at 8 a.m. He made up a story in his mind that she had been talking about their relationship to Kristen all night. He never wanted, but me too. Oh, that scared the shit out of me. I was like, what? I forgot I had that open. Okay, I'll just leave that there and we'll see if we're still live and she's done. Maybe we'll talk about it, but I'll probably be an Easter. We'll save that for Easter Sunday. All right. So he never wanted her to vent to her friends. He had this weird anxiety about it because he's an abuser. And he just made up a whole story. He was telling me I had no friends and that they're only trying to use me because our relationship. What a fucking asshole. I hate this guy, Jaxtaylor. I don't like you. I hate you. I stayed very calm and I was like, you either have to get out of this house or I have to. So that day, me and Cruz went and stayed at the first rental house. You scared the mother of your children so badly, abused her so badly that she had to leave and go to a rental house. And you should have left that moment and checked your ass into rehab, personality rehab, drug rehab, all the rehabs to get better. So having that space and stepping away gave you more perspective. And Brittany says, oh yeah, it was like a veil was lifted. Something about this, something about his energy is just, when he's in a great mood, everybody wants to be around him. And he's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun in our relationship. It wasn't all bad stuff. And that is these are important conversations to have, because I think any woman, man who's in a relationship, whether toxic, abusive, unhealthy, you can relate to this, because you wouldn't stay if it was always shitty. You know what I mean? There's always that hope, I feel like, because there are layers to it and there are these good times, and you kind of cling on to that. And then through, you know, whether it's through their abusive, you know, manipulation keeps you there. But, and you think, well, you know, is this really who this person is? Or is this a problem we can work out? Can this person change? Because you're also having, you know, these great times. And a lot of these abusive assholes can seem very charismatic at times, and they know how to manipulate you with that. Thank you, Christina says, get yourself some new perfume, doll. Oh, I'm not gonna be smelling like pee-pee. What are you talking about? What they talk about? They talk about nothing. What they talk about? They talk about nothing. Yes, Evelyn says, I bet Jax love bombs too. Oh, you know he does. You know he does. And then once, but not long. He can't keep it up for long, because he just likes talking about himself. Thank you, Christina. That's very sweet of you. So then, she started breaking out in hives. Girl, me too. Hashtag me too. Okay. So she says, we had a lot of fun in our relationship. It wasn't all bad stuff, but then he also had this really negative energy that the whole room could feel if he walked in. If he was in a bad mood, or if it was a day after he had been out partying all night, doing Coca-Cola Classic, I started breaking out in hives all the time. Oh, that's relatable. And I was sick a lot. I think a lot of it was because of the everyday stress that I had going on in my life. Same. Once I got into my first rental house, I got it for a month at first. And I was like, wow, this is peace. It wasn't easy by any means. I was still in love with him at the time, but I knew I had to leave. I'll never regret that decision now. There's no going back. Being able to be away, have my own space, and not have that negative energy constantly around me that was bringing me down all the time. I was not myself. I always say I was losing my sparkle. I've been trying to work on getting that back. It's powerful, and it's so telling that when she had her own space, she felt this lightness, and she felt like she had her sparkle back. And you don't realize until you get that energy out of your space. I always tell the story, but I always remember, you know, just the little things of finally being on my own after having been in a toxic relationship for too long and living with that person, and then going grocery shopping by myself, knowing I was just shopping for myself for the first time in a long time. And walking by pineapples. And I always love to buy a pineapple. Okay. I don't know if it's the Minnesota girl in me, and maybe it's different in Minnesota now, but growing up, I never saw pineapples for sale. You know, it's cold. There's like potatoes and cheese and yummy stuff, but I never really saw pineapples. So but pineapples are all year round when I moved to Arizona and when I moved to California. And I'd always want to buy a pineapple, but the person I was with would be like, no pineapples because you're going to forget to cut them and then they're going to go bad. And he just was but I just like the pineapples, whether I cut it or not. I like the smell of them. I like the idea of having a pineapple. I'm a grown woman. I can buy a freaking pineapple if I want to buy a pineapple. But you know, in your ADHD, my ADHD peeps understand I might never get to cutting it. And so I walked by the pineapples and I was just like, I can't buy it. And then I stopped myself and I go, yes, you fucking can, bitch, because he's gone. And I bought like a bunch of pineapples and I let them rot on my counter, which I know shouldn't do that. But I just was like, listen, I love a pineapple. I love the smell. And no one can tell me no more pineapples. It's like those little things that you don't realize, those little like control things that you're like, oh yeah, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm getting my ass all the pineapple. I think I was just like clearing out the aisle of pineapples. Like, come on, handing them out to people as I walk out. You get a pineapple. You get a pineapple. So I understand what she's saying there of just being on your own and you realize so much like, I'm never going back to this. I'm never going back. Because I remember that person would be like, you know, we broke up, but like, we'll be together in the future, he would say, or I'll come find you. And I'm like, do not. After I was by myself, I was like, don't come find me ever again. I just stopped ever taking his calls ever again. And I was, no, don't come find me. Like, leave me alone. Ew. And I think, you know, a person like that, it shocks them then because they're like, oh, well, you didn't no, I'm never answering again. Like, you're done. You're dead to me. Goodbye. Enjoy your life. Bye. So then they said, those early days, what was your support system? And Brittany says, oh my gosh, my family, my friends, I had support from everybody, literally everybody. I think a lot of my family and friends saw how he treated me. Yeah, that's the bad part, is your family and friends see that and they want to just pull you out of it, but you got to, you have to get to that place where you're ready to go. He didn't care. He wanted to put on a front on Instagram and social media and stuff like that things were perfect. That's what everybody does. You're not going to show all your bad stuff. But if the cameras weren't around, or even if they were around, people saw how he treated me. They know gritty details. So a lot of my friends, before I even filed and got separated, were like, you've got to talk to lawyers just to start protecting yourself. Oh, you guys are putting, yes, put your pineapples in the chat. Hell yeah. Never, I know, never. Okay, possibly I don't agree with you on never disrespect. I didn't mean to disrespect the pineapple. I just loved having pineapples around. I just sometimes forgot to eat them. I just love the way they smell. I just love the way they look. I love all the things. But yeah, I think it's the upside down pineapple that means you're a swinger, right? Either way, I love a pineapple. Yes, Stacey, Brittany's dad and siblings were always uneasy about Jax. I don't think her dad was ever. No, remember, didn't he have a talk with Jax or something like right before the wedding? Ugh, can you imagine? No, but I think she did have certain people like her mom and maybe some others in her family who are more like, work it out. No. So, oh my gosh. When people would say things like, you got to protect yourself, what would your response be? Glamour asked her. And Brittany says, I was always like, I know. It just took me time to do it for myself because it was just so hard. It's hard to leave. It really is, especially when you have a child. I know I did what was best and I'm proud of myself for doing it, but it's not easy to leave. People give me hate and shame about that all the time. They're always like, you knew. We all knew that he was not good for you. We all knew that watching the show. And I'm like, you guys don't understand what it's like, the ups and the downs and the good times and the bad times and the dealing with somebody who is on your emotions all the time. It's hard. It can be very hard to get away. Yes. Understandable, Brittany. I think there's a lot of nuance missed when critics say you knew what he was like. Like you said, when you left the house, you had more clarity. Yes, because you were away from the situation. I remember in our last interview, you spoke at length about how much he changed after his father passed. So there's this belief that he's capable of change. And Brittany said, exactly. That's all I wanted, because I didn't want to have to get a divorce or do anything like that. I would always believe that he would change. I would always believe that he would do the things I asked or work on himself, or us working on things together. And it just never happened. He's trying to work on himself a lot more now than he ever did the whole 10 years that we were together. I'm glad that he's trying to get better, but it's way too little and too late for me. Glamour then asks, what do you think is motivating the change now? And Brittany says, that I put my foot down. I was like, you have to go to rehab. You have to. I got people involved. I think he was worried about losing his son, of course. I think he was worried about losing his job. I think he was worried about all those things combined. I'm grateful that he's sober. I hope that he truly is, but I don't know if Jaxtaylor will actually change. And you know what, Brittany? We don't know either. I don't think he can. Not the way he's talking. No. Uh-oh, will Jolene's pineapple collection grow? Once I was able to just like not have someone trying to control my pineapple consumption and tell me what I could and couldn't do with my money at the grocery store, then I was like, I'll settle down on the pineapples. And now I like never buy pineapples. My husband Chell will buy them and he'll cut them up. But he's the chef in the house, so he'll cut up our fruit and make it all nice. I do have a goal of getting a little better at that sort of stuff, but I also have a goal of not getting better at that stuff. So I don't know. I say I want to, but we'll see. Chell, speaking of hi, my husband, Chell. Hi, my love. Miss you too. Hope you're having a wonderful day at work. All right. Bear Chase scraped Mima's piss. Yeah, I guess he like people went to the Valley premiere party at Jax's back alley tent bar, and they just took a marker and blacked out the beer cheese from the menu. Oh gosh, that's trashy. Anna says, I saw a clip that Brittany told Jax he had to take the beer cheese off the menu. Good for her because she owns the trademark. Oh, Brittany, not the trademark. And he wasn't paying her at all for the profits they were making off Mima's cheese. And his, trashy ass just crossed it out with marker. Oh my God. Right. Just get them reprinted. You can save some of the money that you spent on cocaña for a printer, or just going to, do they still have, well, you can just go to like a FedEx. They have printers there, right? I don't know. Okay. Glamour then says, I would love to hear about the place you're in now as a woman, as a parent, with your own growth in the past year. Brittany says, I feel like I'm starting to get over the hump. It's been over a year now, but I rule the roost. Jax knows that he has to do the right things because of everything that he's put me through. It's hard to explain, really, but I don't let shit slide anymore at all whatsoever. So a lot of that has changed. I wear the pants right now, and that's not going to change. I'm going to be Mama Bear for the rest of Cruz's life. They asked, how does that feel? Because as a viewer, when we were introduced to on Vanderpumprules so many years ago, it was positioned as like, Brittany's so sweet and she gets along with everybody. You were seen as sort of a people pleaser, for lack of a better term. So now to have that control, how does that feel? And Brittany says, it feels good. I'm so proud of myself for being able to gain the strength. I'm not going to lie. I am still a people pleaser. I hope that people still think I'm nice, and I do get along with everybody. Literally get along with everybody but Jax. And I think that just means you're doing something right. If you get along with Jax, you're probably doing something wrong in life. You're probably just like him. So I still hope that people see that same sweetness and that same side of me, because it's still there. It's just dealing with this. I have to be strong. I have to separate myself from the situation. Everything has changed in that way. I'm not going to put up with stuff. If one thing I could wish for Brittany is that she get away from any kind of toxic positivity or toxic sweetness. Like, if all that matters is that you're a kind person, and it's already been proven. So you don't have to be like, it's like that pressure that women feel to be like sweet and nice and agreeable. Fuck that. Like, break that shit, spit on it, pee on it, get your period on it, throw it in the garbage, because it doesn't get you anywhere. You can still be a kind person without having to be nice and sweet all the time and brush things aside and let people walk all over you. So if I could wish one thing for her, it's that she just believes in herself and her own kindness and who she is, and doesn't feel as though she has to prove to everyone she's sweet. Who cares? Okay. Then they ask, can we go back a little bit in the timeline? You left in January. So when did you start filming the new season? And she said July. So she left last January 2024, and they started filming the new season of The Valley July 2024. So you had by that point been separated for a few months. And Brittany says, yeah, 6 months. He tries to make it seem like he only freaked out because of Julian. And they added the note, in the season 2 premiere of The Valley, Taylor and Brittany Cartwright both outline a fight that occurred after Jaxtaylor found messages between Cartwright and his former friend, Julian Sensley, which really Julian was just like a hanger-on of the group, on an iPad. And I'm like, dude, I left you January 2020 or January 24th, 2024. Also, it was not an isolated incident. There were many incidents that happened that led me to leave in the first place. I need to make that clear, because he wants to try to make it look like it was just because he saw a text message from Julian or whatever. I'm like, come on, we know, Brittany. We know what he's trying to do. We've seen him try to do it, and we're not letting him. That's why we're calling his ass out. Jack sucks. You're a liar. And we know that he wants to make it like, when you see your wife texting with your friend, it's like, first of all, you guys were separated. Second of all, he wasn't your best friend. It doesn't matter. You've cheated and fucked around on her and treated her like shit forever. We are advocating for her to have sex with your sister. to really piss you off. That's where we're at. Okay. And I speak for me, but maybe some of you feel the same way. So that's important context, because if you've been separated for months, Glamour says, it's not like you started talking to his friend the day after you left. Thank you. And even if she did, that doesn't justify you verbally abusing her and throwing things as a form of physical abuse when you're upset and angry to the point where you're throwing chairs and a coffee table and it's hitting her in the knee and hurting her. Monster. Okay. And Brittany says, no, it wasn't the day after we left. Also, we had already been separated. I had only talked to that one guy, and he went through my private iPad, not even my phone, and found old messages. And he's taking those and manipulating them. We know what you're doing, Jax. I wasn't home, but he was watching Cruise and went through my private stuff. That's stalkery, Jax. That's disgusting. I came home to him in a rage. Oh, it's like, where's my cocaine? He had already known about Julian at this point. He already knew before he found the messages. Of course he did. Of course he did. It's him putting that shit on you. He has to find that little thing, like Legoland was saying in the after show, to put on you for all the shitty stuff he's done. Rather than focus on that, he's going to throw this at you and try to make it into something it wasn't. It was the messages that happened 2 days before we started filming that made him throw all the furniture and do the crazy stuff. So he already knew before he found the messages that her and Julian had been hooking up. It was the messages that happened 2 days before we started filming that made him throw all the furniture and do all the crazy stuff. We almost had to call the cops. I wish the show would call it what it is, and not crazy, not berserk, but abusive. I think that would be very powerful. I don't know if they're going to. Jax and I had been hanging out a little bit more right before filming, but me and Julian at that point weren't even hanging out anymore. So they were already done hanging out. Oh, Jaxie, you nasty ass abuser. So they were old messages, Glamour asks, and Brittany says, yes, from my iPad. I don't think that Jax and I were ever fully going to get back together. You don't even have to justify that, Brittany. I don't care if you told him 2 seconds before that you're going to get back together and be together forever. That doesn't justify him throwing things at you or in general. Like, grow up, have some emotional control. What is wrong with you? So she said, I don't think we were ever fully going to get back together because I had just right before we started filming signed another rental contract for 3 months. So I was still planning very much to not live there, but we were getting along a little bit better. And you try for your family and you think maybe, whatever. But then he went crazy. And then it was like, nope, this is going to be who you are for the rest of your life. That's who you are, Jax. So now we're never going to be able to get back together. We are never, ever, ever getting back together. And Brittany, you need to have that moment like Ariana. Hear the words coming out of my mouth from the woman who loved you. You are nothing. You mean nothing. You're a fucking joke. He needs to hear that. Glamour asks, is it still that way or has it gotten better? And Brittany says, some days are better. I think things are better without his drinking and his cocaine use. I do believe that's better, but his personality is still the same. He's trying not to yell at me and stuff. Oh, wow. Oh, the fact that he even has to try not to yell at her and stuff. But he still to this day is like, who are you talking to? Do you have guys questioning me about my personal life if I'm dating and stuff like that? And then he'll start an argument with me about that. So he's still trying to control her. He's still being an abusive fuck. But yet he's out here on every red carpet, every premiere, every podcast being like, I'm a totally different guy. I don't even recognize that guy. I'm a shell of a man that I am today. Right? Witness says Andy Cohen is turning a blind eye to this behavior. And I'd love to think Andy C is not just about that coin. Oh my goodness. So Glamour then asks, how do you co-parent now? And Brittany says, I have Cruz the majority of the time. Remember good dad Jax? How you're talking about you've been exploiting your son and putting it forward, being like, everything is for Cruz. And you barely see him. And remember when you filled out the paperwork for your divorce and you gave Brittany full custody and you were like, oops, Freudian slip. Sorry, Freudian slip. So she said she has Cruz the majority of the time. Jax does get drug tested, which is something he's been, get drug tested. He's been like wearing that as a badge of honor. And I have a pack of 100 drug tests at home. So he's doing like at home with Brittany drug tests. I feel like he should have to go into some place. She says, I have a pack of drug tests at home that I'll spring up on him any moment to make sure. Just trying to protect Cruz at all costs. Protect him. The co-parenting thing has been difficult because it's hard when you don't trust somebody. Yeah. To allow him to care for the most precious thing in your life, your son. I don't know if I could do it. That's so hard. But I do believe that Cruz's dad needs to be in his life as long as he stays sober. Jax might come over and try to pick him up and take him to the park or take him to Sky Zone. Oh, so he's like sometimes weekend day date daddy. Wow, Jax. That's kind of the majority of what Jax's involvement is. Oh, Lordy. Jax, you are a fucking mess. He doesn't help me financially or anything really. I mean, here and there, but nothing compared to what I do. Anyone shocked by that? Anyone shocked that he's not helping financially? What a fucking loser. To go back to the start of filming, what was your mindset at the time? Brittany says, it was crazy because we were kind of getting along a little bit after our separation. And then 2 days before we started filming, all that stuff happened. So it was still very raw and new in how bad it was. I guarantee he staged that shit so that he could look like a victim on television and try to villainize Brittany. We saw it happen with the Toms trying to villainize Katie and Ariana. And isn't it just what a coincidence that 2 days before they start filming, Jax starts freaking out again, trying to push forth a narrative like Brittany is some cheater so he can justify his abuse. Ew, and be the victim. Ew, 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 ew. So it was still very raw and knew how bad it was. That's why I was like, nope, putting my foot down. You have to go to rehab. Wait, did I read that part? Okay. You have to go to rehab because I'm not dealing with this for the rest of my life. Everybody says until your kid's 18, but no, the rest of your life, you're going to have to at least see each other here and there. I felt strong in that moment though, because I finally did something about it. I felt strong. I felt empowered a little bit. And I was hopeful in the beginning that the rehab would actually help him. Then Glamour asked, do you have any regrets? Do you wish you could have done this sooner? And Brittany says, oh, I've tried to get him help for years in different ways too. Like, let's go to therapy, or let's try to go see a doctor, see if you want to take this medication. Maybe it'll help. I've done many, many things over the years. Being such a caretaker that I am, I've always tried to help him. Always. There's not one person who actually knows me that would think otherwise. And we know Jax has been like, I tried the antidepressants, I tried all these things. And Brittany said, the prescription is still sitting in the drawer and you never got it filled. So you're lying. Glamour says, so by the time you left, you felt like I've tried everything. And Brittany says, I've tried everything I could possibly try. I think for a long time, he thought that I would never leave him. Yes, he did. So I think it was a complete shock to him that I would. So I felt good. I felt proud of myself for doing that. I needed to bat. And the fact that he's still asking and, coming at her every day, every week at least, about like, who are you dating? What are you doing? Is still, interrogating her about this tells you all you need to know, that he really never thought he'd lose control. With the new season coming out, Glamour says, and it potentially rehashing things or the public now having an opinion, what are your feelings on that? And Brittany says, it will be hard and people might not agree with every single thing that I do. I'm all in, Brittany, to cheer for you, girl. But for the most part, I think I'm going to have a lot of support. At least I hope. Yes, I hope so too, Brittany. I hope that other women that are in toxic relationships, maybe watching this could help me as well. Maybe something will click for other women because it's not easy. Maybe other people will see signs and things and be like, wow, this is bad for me too. I'm hoping it could be positive in that way. And I'm hoping people will see my strength and how hard it's been, but that I'm really trying to do the right thing. It seems like you've got better boundaries and walls up now. Are you in therapy or anything to keep that perspective? Brittany says, I go back and forth about therapy. Not that I have anything against it. Jax just put such a bad taste in my mouth about it. I mean, he was always bad mouthing it, and we'll see it in episode 2 because he always would. Again, he didn't want me to vent about what was going through to people. He wanted that perfect outlook for everybody. He kept on and on and on about how we didn't need it. I think I need it for my healing. I'm just trying to get to that point where I'm ready to do it. It'll be sooner than later. I think it's hard for me because it's hard for me to accept help in any kind of way. It's something I have to work my way up to, but I will eventually, Brittany, get there. Jax is an idiot. Him bad-mouthing therapy, but it is this like indoctrination from him, like him just like ingraining this idea in her, and that like, no, don't talk to anyone, don't say anything, these are secrets. It's like the secrets keep you sick. It's very common, like we've talked about in like alcoholic family dynamics and alcoholic families, is like protect the alcoholic, protect the addict, like protect the abuser. And therapy is going to be a great way to get you out of that mindset and also help you so that you can, process all your feelings. And then in the future, you'll be more probably apt to see signs of people like this. It'll just make you better and stronger, and you deserve it, and do it. Then Glamour says, I can relate in that it's hard to accept when you have kids. People all the time are like, you've got to do a yoga class. You need to take care of yourself. But it's like, okay, then who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Who's going to do this? Where will I find the time? By the end of the day, I'm so exhausted that the only energy I have is just to sit. And Brittany says, yeah, exactly. And I do take care of everything. My son goes to speech therapy, occupational therapy. He's in school. He's in all these different things, doctor's visits, dentist appointments. I'm not even sure if Jax would know what shoe size he's in. I literally handle everything, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I love being a mom. Of course, Jax, of course. I saw, was it like a Jimmy Kimmel segment? And they were asking like a back to school segment, maybe from last year or something, where they're asking the dads, like, maybe it wasn't even back to school. They were just asking the dads about the kids, and the moms couldn't answer. Like, what is your son's teacher's name? And the dads had no idea. What's their favorite color? What's their favorite song? No idea. The moms had it down. And that is what, when women talk about like the extra mental load that they have to carry, is all of these responsibilities and things. And obviously, there are dads out there who are, have like full custody. So there's exceptions to this, but there is a certain, mental load that a lot of women and moms have to carry. Not even moms, just like women in general in marriages, and this information that women are expected to know, whether it's like families and birthdays and all the things and dealings and all the social aspects. And Brittany is, she's stating she's in charge of it all. Jax doesn't even know your own kid's shoe size. I even know my niece and nephew's shoe sizes. Like, so again, if you're going to put your son out there, Jax, and you're going to exploit him, and you're going to you at least would know his shoe size. You at least would go to one of his therapy appointments, occupational therapy, physical therapy, all of these things that Brittany says that she's doing and you're not doing. So you can't hide behind, you can't use your child as a human shield if you're not even participating in the, you don't even go to the dentist with them. Like, that's a part of parenting. That's just not just a mom duty. You nasty. Oh my God. Erica says Casey, Anthony, and Jax are probably, honestly, probably. Yeah, father of the fucking year right there. He'd want you to believe, like, I'm a good dad. You're a shit dad. You don't even know his shoe size. You don't go to the dentist. You don't go to the doctors, or you're not active in since he's been diagnosed with autism, yet you want to talk about his autism. You want to like be like an autism influencer dad, but you don't do any of the shit. You're the worst, dude. You're so shitty. Ugh. You make me want to la la la. You make me want to throw up. Ugh, and I hate throwing up. Oh my God. Yuck. Yeah, he's got speech therapy, occupational therapy. He's in school. He's got doctor's appointments, dentist. You do none of it. And this isn't the first time Brittany's mentioned that he does none of it. She literally said you've never been to any of the autism appointments with him, which is probably why you speak so negatively about his autism. Because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Then Glamour says, do you want to be in a relationship again? She's like, I feel like I'm a relationship person. I don't like being alone. Really, but I'm also still healing. I hope she doesn't get in a relationship. Just heal, girl, heal. So it's not like I'm trying to have a boyfriend right now, but definitely want to date to see where it takes me. You never know what the future will hold, but I'm open to anything. I deserve somebody to be nice to me. You need to get a nice vibrator sponsorship, and they can send you a plethora. Okay. And just date your vibrator for a while, girl. I know that's sad, but I feel like I deserve somebody to be nice to me. No, that it is sad that's you just want someone to be kind to you. That should be a given, but I know how the world works. And care for me a little bit, because I'm always taking care of everybody. In my last relationship, I took care of everything all the time. I think it'd be nice to have somebody take me out and do these things. Yeah, that would be super nice. And you deserve it. I have dated a little here and there, but I'm not in a relationship or anything. I'm definitely open to it. I feel like over a year has been plenty of time. Oh, go to therapy first. And I'm sure my divorce will be final soon. You can get laid, like go out, like, go get laid. Don't bring anybody home, and don't be serious with anybody, and date your vibrator. We're still in the process of turning certain things in and going back and forth a little bit. So the divorce will be final soon, she said. But I don't think it's going to be too much longer. What will that bring? Any feeling of relief, like a chapter closing? And Brittany says, yeah, I think it'll definitely be a relief, like a weight's lifted off my shoulders. I think it will be sad too, because it was such a long chapter of my life that will be ending. I think I have a lot of mixed emotions, but I'm definitely going to have a party. I'm the queen of themes. So I will be having some kind of divorce party to mark the end of everything I've been through. Probably we'll see that in season 3 of The Valley, maybe. Looking back at the past year and change, what are you most proud of? And Brittany says, being able to finally put my feelings first and putting myself first over the relationship and everything. I know I keep talking about the strength I've gained, but I honestly have gotten so much stronger, especially through this whole separation. I'm proud of not backtracking. A lot of people were scared, and I was even scared that he was going to be able to pull me back in again, because that's happened throughout our relationship many, many times. But I'm just so proud that I was not going to let that happen this time. I'm proud of you too, Brittany. You should be very proud of yourself, and don't think you're saying it too much. Like, keep being proud of yourself. Keep positive talking to yourself. She says, and I think I'm doing a great job as a mom too. I love being a mom, and Cruz is definitely the thing I'm most proud of overall, because he's the most important thing in my life. I feel like I'm kind of killing this mother thing. Good. They said it's a beautiful thing that he'll get to grow up seeing you happy and taking care of yourself. It may also teach him not to accept certain things. And Brittany says that was one of the main reasons. Like I had said, seeing how I was being treated in front of my son, I was like, he does not deserve this. It was more about that than myself, because I had taken it for years with just putting it in the back of my mind and getting over it. But having him there, seeing it, I was like, nope, this is unacceptable. It's kind of like a mirror, right? And Brittany says, yes, I know this is another kind of strange take on it, but filming season 1 of The Valley helped hold me accountable as well. That for real was like holding the mirror up to myself. It was like, how can I go back when I've been treated like this? I finally separated after we wrapped filming. And then we picked the cameras back up and showed that part of me moving out of the house and stuff. And that really helped hold me accountable. Then they asked, where would you like to be a year from now? And Brittany says, I hope I'm completely over this. I hope I'm healed or working or on healing and in a much better place. Maybe I'll be in a relationship. I'm not sure. Just being with Cruz and being a good mom and trying to keep my podcast going and my shows going, and being successful and happy. I just want to be happy and to be treated well. I'll never put myself in a relationship like that again, where it's red flag after red flag that I ignore. I might have fun with some red flags, but I'm going to change what I'm attracted to for real. And then they ask, how would you feel if Jax was getting married again or in a serious relationship? And Brittany says, I can't see that happening, honestly. I really can't. He's told me a million times he's never getting married again, but I never know what's going to happen. Would it be hard on me? Absolutely. But I would get over it. I'd be like, that's your problem now. Exactly. I'll see how you handle it because I bet you ain't going to handle it for as long as I did. Well, that might not be the best way to think about it. I would think of like that poor woman. I hope you realize sooner than I did. So we might want to just, okay. Are there any last things that we didn't talk about that you think are important context for people to know? And Brittany says, well, what sucks is I haven't seen the first episode of the new season yet. We don't get it until the day before it airs. Obviously, she's seen it now. So I have no idea how it's portrayed. And Glamour says, as a viewer, my impression was that you seem really done. And Brittany says, yeah, I'm just sick of him never holding himself accountable. I'm not ever trying to say I'm perfect. I know that I could be bratty. I could bicker with him, but I never would scream and cuss at him in front of my son and say the meanest stuff to him about his appearance and put him down and make him feel less than he was and make him completely lose his sparkle and his personality like I did towards the end. So Brittany basically saying I wouldn't do what he did to me, which is scream at me, cuss at me in front of our son and say the meanest stuff to me about my appearance, which we know he did. Jax, you're fucking trash, bro. Ugh. You deserve no vagina the rest of your life. Nothing. Ugh. Yuck. I hate that he doesn't hold himself accountable for any of it because it's hard to deal with stuff like that over and over and over and over. I was starting to believe the stuff he was telling me about myself, which is so sad and so tragic. And Jax is out there like, I'm so much better. I'm a better guy. No, you're still the same dickhead. Glamour says, I've watched Vanderpumprules since the beginning, as well as The Valley. And in the second season premiere, it struck me as a much different dynamic. Like Brittany is thinking and putting herself and her son first. We're not on the roller coaster anymore. And Brittany says, that's exactly what it was. I'm definitely not. I am hopeful for the future. Honestly, nobody wants him to be better than I do because we have a kid together. I want that more than anything. I just have no trust in him. So it's going to take a lot for him to build that back up with me, for us to be friends, because I don't even consider him a friend of mine anymore. No, he shouldn't be a friend of yours. He doesn't know how to treat friends. He doesn't know how to treat you. That is no friend. It's going to take some time to regain that trust because he beat me down for a long time. I don't mean physically, obviously, but he really did a number on me emotionally. Even now to this day, if I am nice to him for a couple of days, it's like he thinks we're like best friends again. I'm like, this is not it. It's a struggle, but at the end of the day, I do, for my son, want him to be a better person. But it's going to take a lot for me to see that. And it should. He has a lot to prove. You have nothing to prove. He has everything to prove. Glamour says, to close, is there anything you do for yourself or things that will help bring that sparkle back for you? And Brittany says, yeah, I think just getting dressed up and going out with your friends. I went on a girls trip for 3 days with my friends. And I felt like as a mom, you do have to put yourself first sometimes and feel good about yourself. So doing things like that, my friends and family have been so important. Right now, my brother, my sister-in-law, my niece are visiting me for spring break. And it's amazing having my family here. We're all going to Disney, just being around my friends and stuff, because I do put myself in a hole sometimes when I'm down. where it's hard for me to get out of the house. My anxiety is a lot worse than it ever was before, thanks to Jax. I think it's because everything is so public right now, and it's just a lot going on. But of course, being with my son is the most important thing that makes me the happiest. I just try to focus on that. Oh, and I know she did so that's the end of the Glamour interview, but she did an interview with The Cut as well. And I saw little excerpts. They won't let me read the whole thing, but she was also saying that Jax, through his abuse, also, anytime she had like success, he would find a way, as abusive men do, to, put her down, even though, she was carrying like the weight financially, but he was still be like really shitty and jealous of her success rather than looking at it as like a team. Like, I know for me and my husband, his, exactly, abuse comes in many forms. His wins are my wins are his wins. And that is something that was so different about my relationship with him is, we both met through comedy. And so when we were in LA, kind of pursuing like being on TV and all these things, when my husband, or, we were married part of the time we were in LA, but we moved out there, dating each other. When he would get things, I feel like I would get things because I was so excited for him. And I still feel that way as he's finishing his program and graduating next weekend and becoming an RN. I feel like that is like a family win. I'm just so proud of him. And so any kind of, because people would ask us like, you're both kind of competing in like the entertainment world or comedically, or if he got like, Chell got an audition with SNL. People were like, oh, no part of me was jealous. I was there. I was so freaking excited for him. It was amazing. Like, we have so many of these great memories of him or I getting stuff and we coming home and telling each other and then like jumping up and down in our West Hollywood apartment and just being like, I can't believe this is our life. And those were all like wins because anytime he wins, I win. Anytime I win, he wins. And that's, I think, how it should be in a relationship. But in these abusive relationships like Jax, he looked at it like a competition because he always saw himself as better than Brittany. He found her in Kentucky and she was younger and he thought he could control her and he just never respected her as like a human being. So, it does make sense that he would be that way. But it's sad. It is sad, Design, that she lost her confidence and her trust. And those are things she will get back. But I really hope Brittany takes the time. It sounds like she will eventually, she's saying, but I hope she takes the time and gets therapy for herself and really, because that is like the best self-care for herself right now is to get, to talk to someone she trusts and to really be able to, speak openly and freely and process everything, all the icky shit she takes from being with a toxic piece of shit Coca-Cola classic addict like Jax, who is still self-absorbed, narcissistic, all the bad stuff. Hi. Thank you. Manifest. Who knows? Maybe. Never know. Let's see. Tracy says Britt said she lost her confidence. That's a lot to say in front of cameras. Erica says, does Britt have an education? She does not seem bright. I've got to say, strong, yes, not very bright. I don't know if she like went to college or anything. I'm not sure. I don't know anything. That's the thing. I don't know much about her prior to coming on Vanderpump. I know she's from Kentucky. Silly Goose says, compared to Ariana and Paige, I think she needs so much therapy to get through this. Yeah, she's gonna need it. She can do it, and I think that. But it's hard. It's hard that it sucks because Paige and Ariana can go bye. I think I just saw that Paige is talking about how she blocked Craig on social media, blocked her ex, but they don't have the tie of a child, so they can just be like, bye, see you never. And unfortunately for Brittany, she has Cruz, which will like she said, always link her to Jax. But right now, I mean, you just have to be so careful because of what, you don't want to alienate your son from his father, but his father also has to step up and be a father and be a safe place for Cruz. You can't just like send him off to Cocaña land where Jax is irresponsible, erratic, abusive. Like, I don't blame Brittany for not feeling safe in doing that. And Jax's degree is just in lying. Exactly. He's just a liar. He has a degree in modeling from Florida. Yep. See you never. Deucer, see ya never. I know. And Lala has that X tie too. She always has to see No Neck Randall. Ooh, can you imagine? I never even had sex with No Neck Randall, but I still will, like, even having to picture him in like a set, like, ooh, can you imagine seeing him and then you knowing you had sex with him and ooh. Oh my God, that would be like my Ozempic. It makes me never want to eat again. That, ooh, yuck. Yucky. Silly Goose says she needs a therapist to wake her up. He said, keep things secret. Yeah. Don't bring everything out. Bring everything into the light. Osflygirl says, Britt is 36. I think she can learn many more things. Yeah. I think, yeah, she's probably at least mid-30s. You know, Jax is like 67. So he should know better. He is. I think secretly Jax is 92 years old. I do. Evelyn says, I can't even imagine having sex. Right? Having him on top of you, I'd be like, is this hell? Is this that purgatory they used to talk about? Like, what's happening? Why, God? Why? No. No, I don't. That's the thing. He's too gross. Personality, looks, all the stuff. Ew. Like, that's why they say not all money is good money. I'd rather be broke. Not if anyone is looking, the next diet craze is just think about whenever I'm like, I'm gonna have another Cadbury egg. It's Easter. Psst, sex with Randall. I can't eat. I can't sleep. Yep, Cammie, 93 going on 120. Daughter of several says she needs good friends, a good lawyer, and a trauma-informed. Thank you. She does, and hopefully she has that. And I hope she gets her own representation, her own PR, her own manager, her own agent, whatever. It seems like her and Jax kind of shared some of the things. Just break all ties when it comes to that stuff in business. Get your own people. Design says Jax got to raise the season allegedly. I'm telling you, he's profiting off his abuse. He's monetizing his abuse. And Bravo is incentivizing him being an abuser. There is really no incentive for Jax to truly change because he's starring on a show, making more money than most people on the cast. There's really no consequences for this man. They have actively been trying to get ahead of this story this season, his behavior, I should say. They're trying to get ahead of his abusive behavior and paint a picture, a redemption arc for him that he's changed. And this is so long ago when really the person he's abused all these years is telling us, no, things haven't changed. I hope he's sober, but he's still, being an asshole. He's still texting me, invading my privacy, controlling, still popping off on me. So until there are like consequences, this guy is not going to change. No, ma'am. Yeah. How many episodes times 30 is what Jax was paid? I don't know if they're due 10 or more episodes. And he's not paying Brittany anything. No child support. How do you think your son lives, sir? If you're such a good dad, how do you think things get paid for to take care of your son? Where is your money? Like, is it still going up your nose? What is happening? Yes, Kathleen. He sports constant black rage. He has those evil eyes. Oh, it was like when Sheree, remember when Sheree at the reunion was like, Nene, like, ooh, don't look at me like that. And then she was like, fix your face. Your face. But that's like Jax, ooh, don't look at me like that. Oh, for sure. This is the path he's on. Jax is going to be alone and poor before we know it. When this money, obviously he's not a good investor. He invested in putting a tent in an alley of a bar in Studio City and putting his name on it. This man is not good at business. Right? Unreal, not pulling his weight. What a useless, completely useless. A useless bellend, like the UK friends say. He's a bellend. Like he's an ass. What are you doing? But yet here he is in interview after interview. He was on the cover of Us Weekly saying, I did it for my son. Did what? You're not even paying child support. You don't go to any of his doctor's appointment. You're not invested in his autism diagnosis. You're out here talking as like with such negative connotation about it. Idiot. I can't stop calling him an idiot. It just feels so good. Graphics, thank you for the super chat. Graphics says, thanks for roasting Jackson. Those problematic Bravo men hope to sponsor your show someday. You already sponsor my show with so many wonderful things, so many little gifts and lovelies that I have to show everybody. Care Bear, good question. Why didn't Alex ask that question? Alex Baskin-Robbins. Hello, because Alex Baskin-Robbins has vested interest in Jax and his behavior, which will bring ratings. So he doesn't morally, there's no morals involved in it. Like it's all about the almighty dollar. So he's going to protect his investment, unfortunately. Because obviously, by the way that they are, paying Jax and rewarding him, they're basically saying that Jax is the most important part of the cast. The abusive, manipulative, piece of shit, racist ass loser who doesn't pay child support is a hot commodity to them. Yeah, a bellend is a dickhead. And I just love that word. I just love how the Brits just make dickhead. So it's a bellend. Kylie says, yeah, this man invested in a random. You made me snot from my nose. He needs a conservative, like for real. We are always throwing conservators on women. There's Brittany, Wendy Williams, but Jaxtaylor is out here investing in Randall Emmett joints. And he's allowed to not have a conservator. Oh my gosh, right? Oh, so stupid. What an idiot. Okay, such idiots. I just love calling them idiots. Feels so good. When it hits your lips, it feels so good. All right, you guys. We are over 2 hours. You guys have been all wonderful, beautiful, pumpkin spice babies. I'm going to Kenya's video. Oh, her video. Her live. Let's see how long it lasted. Okay, so I think it was like a 30-minute or so. Okay, Kenya. All right. So tomorrow I'll be back to celebrate Easter Sunday with the Kenya Moore confessional. Either that or if it's good, if it's real juicy, because it's the full episode. Kenya Moore, the confessional, they tried to silence. So if you guys want to go watch it yourself first, it's just on, if you're interested, it's on the Kenya Moore YouTube channel. Let me share it with you guys so you can see where to find it. But it just premiered. And this was like the teaser that she put out, and you can just go to her Kenya Moore channel. Let me see if her subscribers were 14.4. Let's see if this channel has grown her subscribers. That's always interesting to me. 15.1. So she's growing. So she has her confessional.
So I want to start off by referencing something that means so much to me, especially right now. It is a quote from Kendrick Lamar.
Oh,
wait, what's the quote?
She's quoting Kendrick Lamar.
Okay, okay, I'm being serious. Okay. They try to rig the game, but they cannot fake influence. They, you know who they is.
Bravo.
Tried it, girl.
All right. I got to watch it and see what she says and see if there's anything we need to talk about tomorrow. And let's see. It's 2. You know what? Should I? Are you guys around a little later if we finish up the Pooper Proctor cross exam? I think I'm going to make a live for 6 my time. Is it Saturday? A little Saturday Night Live, and we'll roast up the rest of Trooper Proctor and get that going, you guys. So be on the lookout. You just watched it? Okay. So be on the lookout for that live. Oh my God, Dave is fast asleep. And he's snoring and his little eyes are like this, like he's having a dream. I love when the dogs have the dream and they're like running, you know, or they're like playing like, ooh, ooh, you know, it's so cute. It's so cute. Okay, you guys will be around. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it because we got Karen Read opening statements on Tuesday. So we'll get through the rest of Pooper Proctor, and then we'll maybe tomorrow look into Pooper Paul and his. Oh, I can't help it. All right. Thank you guys. Shout out to everyone who was in the live chat, and then all my super chatters today who we're trying to get justice for the Uggies. Justice for the Uggies. Thank you guys so much for the super chat. Liz as witness, Design, Karen, Pamela B, Cami Hawkins, Os Fly Girl, Just Kelly, Christina Byington, and Graphics. I appreciate you guys so very much. Smash that like on your way out. Comment all your hopes, thoughts, dreams, and opinions in the comment section, including a roast Jax. If you want me to roast the new episode of his podcast coming out next week, I think. Just put it in the comment section when the video posts, not the live chat, but the comment section. And if I see a lot more of those, I'll roast his next episode. But until next time, you guys, you're wonderful, beautiful pumpkin spice babies. I'm going to play the Don't Be a Dick and then my closing little outro. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day until I see you later on tonight. Okay, bye. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think.
Don't be a dick, you're being a real dick. Stop being a dick, you're being a dick.
Don't be a dick, that's what you're being right now. You need to stop, check yourself, and calm the fuck down.
Don't be a dick, you're being a real dick. Stop being a dick, you're being a dick.
With the things that you do, you're obviously very hurt, and that's why I think that you're a big fucking jerk.
Don't be a dick, you're being a real dick. Stop being